Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. My name is Gail Snyder. I'm the Executive Director for Dementia Friendly Fort Worth. We are proud to offer this program with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded and are made available through a YouTube channel for future use. Today, our guest is Dave Parks with Home Care Assistance, and we are going to do another session of the Mind Fit program. So I'm going to hand it off to Dave.
Great, thank you. So let me do my part.
I'm going to let you share your screen.
All right, can you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, very good. Well, it's good to be with everyone. This is a great time to be in Texas with this weather. I tell you, I just love it. So it's not too cold during the day and it's nice, cool at night. So it's really a nice time to be a Texan. So we're going to do a few more activities around the different areas of our brain. So just to remind everyone, we have memory, executive functioning, attention, language, and visual spatial perception. And we've done activities around all these areas. Today, we're going to start out with something a little bit different. So we're going to solve some situations together. So we call it advice column. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a situation, and then we're going to figure out what's the best solution. So the best solution for you may not be the best solution for me, but the idea is that we all have to come up and use our executive functioning skills to come up with a solution, right? So we got to think and reason and make some decisions.
Oops.
All right.
Yep.
All right, so let's try the first one. I'll read it and then y'all come up with what you think the best solution is. Okay, so while I was standing in line to make purchases at the convenience store last weekend, someone rudely stepped in front of me and cut in line. He didn't even acknowledge me. I was so mad, but wasn't sure what to say or how to react. So how would y'all react to that?
Go ahead, Paulette.
Well, it's happened to me before, and I just smile and say, "Hi, how are you?"
Okay.
And then he knows, or whoever it is, knows that I know what they've done, and if they want to say something, they can. If not, just let them go.
Okay.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right.
I basically do the same thing. I don't say anything. I had kind of a reverse action. I was standing in a store and they had several lines, people were waiting in line, and I was the next one in line, and another checker opened up, and she, looked at me and nodded at me, and I went over there, and another lady almost ran into me to get there.
Right.
And I happened to get there first, and I just kind of looked around just a little bit, and she was mad that I got there first.
Right. Sure.
And I had to think about what for a minute, and I kind of, acknowledged she was there, but I was there, and the checker was there checking out my stuff. What can I do? Type of thing. And but she was really mad.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I had a lot. I only had a couple of things, and she had a cart full.
Sure.
So I don't know. And I don't know the situation. I don't know if she had to get someplace, or if she had family she had to take care of. I don't know. I was just there by myself.
Right.
And or I think my son-in-law was with me, and I think he actually kind of ran interference a little bit because the lady was, I think, really starting to come after me, and he kind of just ran interference a little bit,
Oh,
you know. And so, but to me, normally when they cut in line, I'm not real happy, but I don't go after them.
yeah.
I just, it's kind of like I had a philosophy. I remember younger, never locked my car, anytime, and I had a pair of gloves stolen out of the car one time. It was the wintertime in North Dakota, so you always had gloves in the car, extra gloves.
Hmm.
And at first I said, and I said, well, I guess that person just really needed a pair of gloves,
Yeah.
and so, yeah, I liked the pair of gloves, but, somebody else needed it, so why
I
get
had
upset?
I had a situation at a grocery store. It was about 10 years ago before my family moved here with me. So I was going through the line and it was one of those 10 items or less lines, but I actually had more than 10 items.
Uh-huh.
And I honestly didn't see the sign until I got up to the clerk. And I told the clerk, I said, hey, I'm sorry, I got in the wrong line. I'll get out of line and go to another line because I really was in the wrong line. And she goes, oh, don't worry about it. I'll just run you through real quick. So she starts scanning my items, and the lady behind me was furious.
Yeah.
So she started banging her stuff on the conveyor belt,
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my gosh, this isn't good. And and I looked at her and I said, I'm so sorry. I got in the wrong line, and I admitted I did something wrong. And she said, she goes, you know what? She goes, I bet you never follow the rules.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I'm like, okay, well, there's not a whole lot I can do now. The clerk was like halfway through my stuff, and so then the clerk starts getting nervous because the lady said something else to me, like I always follow the rules. I can't believe this is happening, and so the
Mhm.
clerk's getting nervous, and so she didn't realize it, but after she finished swiping my stuff, she started swiping the lady's stuff.
Oh, okay.
And so she's like, oh my gosh, the situation's getting worse and worse.
Worse.
So I told her, I said, look, I said, just swipe all her stuff. She didn't have that much, but swipe, like 10 items or 9 and swipe all the stuff. And then I'll pay for all of it. So then, we can all part as friends. And
Yeah.
so then the lady said, you're swiping my stuff. And so the clerk's like, well, the gentleman said he would pay for it. And then all of a sudden I was that
Oh,
lady.
everything's nice. Yes.
Good morning.
So anyway, all right. So let's go to the next one here. Uh-oh. What am I doing? There we go. All right. I seem to be a magnet for solicitors asking for donations either at my door or in the mail. I want to be a charitable person, but sometimes I question the legitimacy of these requests, particularly high school kids who look too old and don't seem authentic beyond their prepared pitch. Some mail requests also seem suspicious. How do I know what is appropriate and what isn't? I'm a senior citizen and sometimes wonder if folks are taking advantage of me. So what advice would you give Alice here?
Well, in my case, I defer everything to my wife
There you go.
because she makes better decisions. She knows I have struggled, and she says, don't make any commitment, just defer them to me,
Yeah.
And let her take care of it. She had a situation with her father of a magazine company that just, he had eventually taken him to court because they had sold him multiple copies of the same magazine. There are all sorts of things, and she finally said, you took advantage of a senior citizen who could not understand and could not say no.
Right.
So your choice is either you quit or I take you to court.
Yeah.
They finally just said, okay, that's enough, type of thing. And that's kind of the way it is. I think, I get upset. And I dealt with sometimes, particularly when I was in ministry, of some of these people that do take advantage.
Right.
Right. And I think senior adults, particularly, are ones that do get taken advantage of a lot.
Yeah.
Because our generation was really trusting.
Oh, sure.
And we really do. And we do have a heart. And we look at people and we say, oh, well, they're hurting, they're struggling, type of thing. Or, they offer even these vacation packages type of thing, and my wife and I had done enough of those and we realized it's not really a good deal.
Yeah.
We did a couple of them. And so, it just kind of like, or those that say you get this thing and it's free, but then you got to pay money to get it, type of thing. You finally get to the fine print. And sometimes people just don't understand that. And so seniors are more susceptible, I think, to a lot of that because they're not, the scam market gets more and more.
Oh, sure.
Um,
The unfortunate part of that is it certainly hurts. It can be detrimental to the seniors, but for the legitimate charities hurt
Right.
too, because, they're kind of lumped in sometimes with all the others, but.
well, I don't mind, and we do contribute,
Sure.
but it's like, we'll do a lot of research before we won't just hand somebody some money. If that's charitable, we'll do research first.
Sure.
If they don't have a way to contact them or good contact or research, a way to contact and find out what they're about and what they're doing with their money, we're not going to contribute to them.
Yeah.
Now I've made exceptions for people on the street I've met. I'll give them $5 or I'll buy them a hamburger or do something like that. I'll do that. But as far as for major stuff, we're always going to look for. I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. I just.
That's okay.
Sorry, Paul, I didn't let you answer.
Part of the executive functioning skills.
I just have a line that's been with me since I ever read it. It's in the Bible. What you do for the least of these, you do for me.
Mm-hmm.
So even if they're razzing you and cheating you and all that, you have the heart to help somebody, and you've done that.
Right, and
they're the ones that get looked at.
And I had to make some hard decisions. I had to make some hard decisions when I was in the pastorate because people that took advantage come after year, sometimes changing their names, things like that, to try and get more funds. And fortunately, I had a secretary who kept good notes on every person, and sometimes, the name would be different, but there'd be little things that they'd forget and they'd say. One lady she had a different name, but she spoke to me the same way she spoke to me the first time. Same phrases in the same tone. And that triggered something in the back of my mind.
Uh-huh.
And so I went to the secretary and I said, did we have somebody? Yeah, okay. And so we didn't help her at that point. Of course, she got all up mad, sad. But she basically was one going church to church to church to church, doing the same thing. And I know that there are people that struggle, and I'll help them as much as possible. But there has to be some time where they take some responsibility to try and work out their situation, other than taking advantage of other people.
Mm-hmm. I had a guy one time in Birmingham, Alabama. We lived there for several years, and I saw him in downtown. Like downtown areas, you get approached a lot, and so I gave him, I think, $10 or $20, I can't remember. And then like 15 minutes later, he saw me. He didn't realize he had already approached me. And so he approached me again. I said, yeah, you already hit me up a couple of blocks ago.
Well, when I was at church, we were kind of along the coast towards going towards Galveston. So we had a lot of people coming down to go to the clinic down there, medical center down there. And they stop and for gasoline, type of thing. Need gasoline. Well, I take them over to the gas station, fill it up. Some of them didn't want that. They just wanted the money.
Sure.
And I said, no, if you want gasoline, we'll fill up your tank.
Yep. Yep.
And I actually had one who said, we want some food. And I said, okay, I've just made arrangements down the road, for the food bank, and they'll give you food. Oh, we don't want that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We want hamburgers,
Yeah.
and it was kind of like you try to do as much as you can,
Sure.
but there are some people that just don't want what you're helping them,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
and I could, even though I might have felt a little bit guilty at the time, I had to go and say, we tried.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did you pastor? Where were you a pastor? What church?
Well, at that point in time, I was at First Baptist Elvin, Texas,
Oh,
down south of Houston.
yeah.
I pastored in Lamarck, Texas, pastored in Brevard, North Carolina,
Oh, cool.
and have been associate pastors in numerous different places.
Were they all Baptist or did you?
Yeah, they were Baptist. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool.
All right.
Numerous different. Basically, even though I wasn't always on the quote pastoral staff, but because of my position as a chaplain or something like that, even if it's a hospital or military, I always made a affiliate with the local church that allowed me to be able to do things like ceremonies and be available for them if they needed me,
Mhm.
so I could do weddings, because some states you actually have to be a minister of a church
Oh,
to be able to do a wedding.
Hmm.
interesting.
And so, like in North Dakota, you have to say you are a minister of this church. Okay. Can't just say you're ordained or whatever type of thing. It's not like Texas. Texas is very open in there. And so when I married my brother, I had to basically had an affiliate with the church in North Carolina that, yes, I was part of the ministerial staff
Mhm.
of the church, And so I've done that every place I've gone, whether it's been with the military or a hospital or any place like that. And even if I have not been in a chaplain situation, I've still been on, quote, an unofficial staff member of the church to be able to do functions like that that come along.
All right.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm talking a lot. Sorry.
Okay. So, so I got a couple more situations. Okay. So the next,
We might never finish, Dave, if you let me talk long.
that's okay. It leaves me more material for next time.
Yeah.
All right. So a few nights ago, I had fallen asleep on the couch watching television. A really loud knocking noise startled me awake. At first, I thought it was the TV, but then I realized somebody was banging on my door, not simply knocking. I turned on the light and looked out the viewfinder. I recognized the teenager from the neighborhood, but I didn't know him. He seemed nervous and in a hurry. I was concerned for him and what might be wrong, but I was also concerned for me, being a woman alone. I had already turned on the light, so he knew I was there. I tried to question him through the door, but I didn't understand his response. What should I have done?
Well, in our house, we have an intercom. I could have said, through the Ring doorbell or something like that, could you please, what's going on? You need something? You need help? What's the situation?
Mhm.
Other than that, because normally, well, some front doors, we have the chains, that lock on.
Right.
And that would be one way to do it, is just kind of crack the door a little bit, hear a little bit better. Some doors that don't have the chains, like we don't have a chain on it, but we've got a ringer on it.
Yeah.
So they would know as soon as I opened the door that there was an alarm going off, and if they probably would run away if they were up there. So it just kind of, it's a hard situation.
Yeah.
Particularly if you recognize the teenager, from the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Because if he's nervous and in a hurry, there might be a family issue.
Right.
He might be trying to get somebody to help.
Right.
You know, his dad, passed out, or his mom fell down, or his brother and sister, got injured.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
And it happens in the
Yeah.
middle of the night, time
Yeah.
too.
I agree.
And,
It's definitely a difficult situation.
and even though we think about when they could call, things like that, that's not always the case.
Mm-hmm.
They don't always call 911.
Mm-hmm.
And I've read with police officers, and I know that sometimes, depending upon if it's a family's got a lot of issues, the police don't always rush.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a repeated calls, and so if something actually, it's kind of like crying wolf. And so if something does happen that is immediate, the police are concerned, but they also have this little thing niggling in the back of the mind. Is it really important or not?
Yeah.
No.
So that's,
Paulette, what do you think?
sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to let somebody else talk. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. He's doing a great job. I would probably, even if he knew I was there, I would go dial operator and call
Yeah.
the police and have them come by and check it out.
That's a
And
good idea.
tell me or not, it really wouldn't matter because somebody would be there. But I mean, I've had burglars in the house before, and it was very scary.
Yeah.
And
That would be another option, is just file the police,
Mm-hmm.
have them come by, or if you have a neighbor very well, have them step out to their door
Mm-hmm.
and see what's happening.
this is also the day of cell phones. I mean,
Yeah,
back in the day when the burglars were trying to get in our house, I mean, nobody knew what a cell phone even was.
yeah,
Yeah, this is a great example of why we need to keep our executive functioning skills as sharp as possible, because, everything y'all are saying is very reasonable, but if your executive functioning is not working well, you might do something that's not reasonable, right? So I've actually had someone say, oh, of course I would open the door and let them come on in. So, so you just got to be real, and that may be what you think is best, but it's important to keep the executive functioning sharp so you can make good decisions. And so this would be a situation where, you really want to make a good decision. The next one's a little bit lighter, so it's not quite as heavy. So,
okay, thank you.
all right, so I was watering my ferns on the front porch a few days ago when I noticed somebody letting their dog poop in my front yard. So I recognized the person as a neighbor from a block away, but I didn't know his name. He didn't seem to notice me. I wasn't sure whether I should say something or just let it go. I've had to clean up dog doo-doo a few times, and it bothered me that he would be that inconsiderate. What would you have done?
I would be tempted to pick up the doggy doo, put it in a bag and take it to his porch and drop it off. I say, thanks a lot, but I don't want it either.
Yep. Or you forgot something.
Yeah.
I think I would be tempted to say, excuse me, would you mind picking up after your pet?
Yeah.
We don't have pets and we don't want that left in our yard, but that would be hard to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. It depends upon, I guess, even the situation there of, I'm trying to think out the best way to do it. What is the neighbor like? Is it a big husky guy
Right.
you think could get mad at you, or is it a sweet old lady? and you don't want to hurt the sweet old lady either, type of thing. So it's just kind of like, sometimes, yeah, you don't like it, but, we have it in our yard, and I have no idea how it gets there, because it's sometimes in our backyard, and our backyard's fenced in.
Yeah.
I have no idea how it gets there.
One of the things that we've done is go to the feed store and get some of that repellent stuff, just to try to deter them from coming into the yard.
Oh, okay.
So that's a proactive way to help curb the problem.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
one time when I was on staff at a church, we had soccer fields for the kids to have soccer team practices and games. And we had people who routinely would come there to walk their dog and let their dog do its business. And I was the person in charge of the facilities and all of that. So I actually had to go out and talk to the person and explain to them that these fields were for the use of children, and we would ask them not to use it as a place for their dog to do their business, because you don't want the kids playing in that, and you certainly don't want them getting it on their shoes and bringing it inside either.
Right.
I guess you could put a container of plastic bags outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Frankly, I get a little irritated at my family when they bring over their dogs and then they do their business in the yard. That's how sensitive I am. But I'm thinking, well, that's kind of part of being the dad, right? So
Yeah.
What you have to do is tell them, we have grocery bags underneath the sink. You might want to take one out when you go.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Just a subtle hint that you want them to pick up
Right.
after their pet.
right. Yeah. Anyway, I'm scared they would quit coming around the house.
Yeah, it's kind of like the thing with neighbors. You don't want to, you want your neighbors. You want to be good neighbors.
Right.
You don't want to chase them away, so they never want to be around you again.
Right.
The
So it's
problem
kind
with
of, there's a catch-22 in this situation.
Yeah.
that is they're not being a good neighbor.
Well, I know, but you don't treat them the way they treat you.
Right. So that's why you just deal with it.
I
And
hate to say,
But if you might
I hate to
deal
say
with
that.
it, like if they see you go out as soon as the dog's gone and you're picking it up right away, they might get the hint.
yeah.
Yeah.
That they should have done something.
Paulette,
just
what were you
letting it
going to
sit.
say?
I'm sorry, Paula.
If you just put out a plastic bag and put it in there. Thanks.
Okay.
That
What
might
did
be
she
the
say? I missed
making
what she said. What did she say?
I think she said she still was with the idea of putting it in a bag and putting it on the porch.
Yeah.
But that would be the way to lose the friendship of your neighbor.
Like the ones that used to put in paper bags and set the paper bag
Set it on fire.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
All right. So the next activity I was going to do is that triple bonds. We did that last time, but I think we're out of time. So I'll be back in a couple of weeks, and we'll do that again. That's when we list the. I'll introduce it to y'all again. So that's when you list the 3 words.
right, yeah.
Come up with, like, here's one: knife,
Yeah.
watch, and protector.
And it's what they have in common.
And what are we
They have
supposed
in
to do?
common. What kind of binds those words together?
What kind of protector do they mean?
Well, these are like the protector that they're referring to here is what a lot of engineers use.
Oh, the safety equipment.
No,
No?
it's more the old, you know how in the old days people would carry around like 5 or 6 pins in their pocket?
Oh, okay, pocket
Pocket
protector.
Yeah.
Pocket protectors like I make.
Yeah. So the word, the triple bond here is pocket, right? So
I was
pocket.
about to say.
Pocket knife, pocket watch, pocket protector.
Of course,
Okay.
not many people have a pocket watch anymore. That would be kind of a cool
I've-
thing to get a
I
pocket.
have some. I have some pocket watch. I can't wear a wristwatch, so I have pocket watches. I don't use them much anymore since I use my phone.
Yeah.
So-
That would be kind of cool. That would be really different. You know, if someone said, "What time is it?" You get your pocket watch out, you know?
My husband carried a pocket watch when we were first married.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Did he wear it in his, like his shirt pocket or his pants pocket?
His pants pocket.
Yeah.
Actually, I had a little, the last few, I had a little, I say, container I hooked onto my belt,
Hmm.
a leather container that it went into,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah, I have a number of watches. I've had them actually, some probably the best ones I got from my father-in-law who did watch repair in his retirement, and they're wind-up watches. They're old wind-up railroad watches.
Oh yeah.
They're very nice.
Yeah.
He gave me one, a real nice one time. He got mad because I used it. He wanted just as a collector.
Right. Right.
So anyway,
Very good. All right. Well, I look
Alright.
forward to being with y'all in a couple of weeks. So, or maybe
Thank you.
next week. I guess, Gail, I'm on for next week.
Yes, I think you are, unless we
Okay.
need to change because we did a flip-flop today. Can
Well,
you do
good.
next week?
We'll do triple bonds, and then I have some visual spatial on this one.
Okay.
So,
All
very
right.
good. Thanks so much.
thank you,
Thank you
Dave,
so
very much.
Appreciate it.
We'll see you
Y'all
next
have a
week.
good week.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Enjoy this.
Bye.
Bye. Have a good week.
All right. You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello, Janine.
Hello.
How are you today?
Don't know yet.
Don't know yet? There we go. So tomorrow is our music and art session with Peggy Spear. So that should be very interesting. Artwork related to music. I'll be anxious to see that. So y'all join us tomorrow.
Oh, so Ann here.
Yes.
Okay, we'll
don't know- I don't
hopefully
know.
be there.
I don't know if she'll be playing any music. It could be paintings of instruments or musicians, or could even be some 3D art. Who knows? So we'll look forward
Well, it'll
to
be
that tomorrow.
fun to see. Something to look forward to. Yay!
All right.
Such a good job putting all this stuff together. You really do.
Well, it's I like having a variety so that it's not the same thing every day. I hope it doesn't provide too much confusion that bingo has moved to Mondays.
No,
No, not at all.
Starting next Monday, I've talked with Michelle yesterday, and we have a nursing student who will be joining us to call the bingo on Mondays.
good.
So that will be fun.
Yes, it will.
All right. Well, y'all have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you all tomorrow.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.